students. If you'd like to turn to page 115 in your textbook, we're going to begin today's lesson with a study on the dative case. Can anyone tell me some uses of the dative case, please?
Is it indirect object?
I mean, I don't really see why that's so funny, Martha, but yes, the indirect object is a very common use for the dative case. For example, if we were to take the English sentence, the girls gave the servant water. The subject of that sentence, of course, the girls, the verb, gave, and the indirect object is the servant. Now, if we were to then put that sentence into Latin, we would have puellae dabant sero aquam. Now, sero is in the dative case because it is the indirect object of the sentence. Now, I know you all learned way back in Latin 2 with that old Mr. Ross man that the indirect object is the most common use of the dative case, and wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. However, I would like you all to know that there are so many other uses of the dative case, and they simply get overlooked all the time. It happens in history a lot, actually. For example, there was that kooky old emperor, Dr. B.
Dominus. Scriber, ille. Nucleo civis nefarios. Pareo neminem. Imperum puerum stupera. Non parcum te.
Now you see, students, Emperor B thought he was being a wonderful, impressive emperor and really giving his scribes something fabulous to write down for centuries to come. What was actually happening was that he was giving his scribes something to laugh about. You see, he used words such as nokeo, pareo, parco, and impero, and followed them with the accusative case. No. Latin says that all of these words, including several others, such as approprinquo, credo, even persuadero, ferveo even, all of those words, those verbs follow with the dative case. So you see, because this emperor didn't know this, just as you students didn't know until I just told you, he looked like a fool. He lost all of his credibility, was kicked off the throne. It's terrible.
Wow, it's so embarrassing.
Hope he got beheaded.
Yeah, you see, Martha, to me, beheading there seems a tidbit strong, but, yeah, sure, Martha, perhaps Emperor B got beheaded for using the dative case wrong. Anyway, there are more uses than just indirect object and special verbs that require the dative case. For example, there's dative of purpose.
Dude, what's the point of it all?
I don't know. I mean, there's gotta be some reason, right? Gotta be a purpose behind all of this.
I don't know, man. I just don't see the bigger point. I mean, with the government keeping us down and all.
No. I didn't mean that kind of purpose. Not like existential teenage hippies on drugs purpose. No. Dative of purpose.
It was really fascinating.
Drugs.
Martha, could you please stop thinking about drugs and focus on Latin for about 5 seconds? Okay, thank you. Anyway, as I was saying, dative of purpose has more to do than just weird teenagers thinking about the purpose of life. No. As we know back from Latin 1 and 2 all those years ago with Mr. Ross and Dr. B, 2 or 4 are 2 of the most common words associated with the dative case. Now, 4 is very commonly used to denote purpose, such as if I were to say, for what? That's describing purpose. So because 4 is so commonly associated with the dative case, we're able to put nouns in the dative case, and the 4 is simply assumed by Latin. Now, what do I really mean by this? Let's think of a scenario in which a teenage girl is given a reward for writing things down. So now, if we wanted to say, why does the girl write things down? The girl writes for a reward. That's the sentence we want to craft, right? We don't have to think of words for in Latin. That's simply implied by the dative case when we use dative of purpose. that Latin sentence would be written as puella scribit premio. Premio is written in the dative case, and it simply means for reward. So there you go, dative of purpose.
Oh. Man, I still don't think there's a higher purpose.
But wait, there are even more uses of the dative case. And because you children are so oddly obsessed with drugs and things of that matter, I think I have an example which will fit you perfectly.
Hey,
Orange juice?
no, it's fine. I have the money.
Or do you know? But who's supposed to have the money, Punk?
I mean, I have the money.
Oh yeah? Well then hand it over.
Well, it's not that I have the money per se yet. It's just that I have the money.
This is why I hate teenagers. What are you even saying?
You know?
They had drug dealers back then?
Once again, Martha, you have managed to completely miss the point of that lesson. Yes, there were drug dealers back in ancient Rome. Anyway, what I wanted you to gain from watching that little flashback was the idea that the teenager there had to decide what word in the sentence to emphasize, because in English, we don't have different cases to put our words in to emphasize for us. While in Latin, by simply putting the same word in a different case, you have a different emphasis. For example, if I were to say, liber est meus, I have said the book is mine, indicating that it is solely the property of myself and no one else. But if I were to say, est mihi liber, where mihi, instead of being meus nominative, mihi is dative, I now say I have a book. I'm emphasizing that I am in possession of the book. Dative of the possessor is emphasizing the possessor of the book rather than the possession of the book.
Did it even make a difference?
Makes so much more of a difference.
Yay.
Oh my god, Jeffrey, stop beating your head against the wall. Oh my god, this is the most ridiculous group of students I've ever had to teach. Do you understand that? You all are ridiculous. I'm simply going to move on to the last use of the dative case, which without even giving you any kind of interesting flashback, because you all clearly cannot handle it. Anyway, the last use of the dative case is dative with special adjectives. Like dative with special verbs, there are some adjectives that just take the dative case. For example, we have chaos similis e, and wikinis Now, why do these take the dative case? As we learned before with dative of purpose and the close association with the dative case and the word for, there's also a close association with the dative case and the word to. Now, let's take wikinis close to. What is that second word? To. Now, because dative case is so closely associated with this word, that adjective just happens to take the dative case. Understand?
No, the dative case.
Still don't care. Does he even go here?